Hello everyone, it's Maria here from pepperlyrose.blogspot.com.au. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Sydney, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to do a video that is slightly different from my normal, and it's not a video involving a project, but it's more so a Q&A video. I've had quite a few questions regarding things that I have used that are not specifically Stampin' Up. But these are tips that I feel that will help enhance your Stampin' Up experience. So I hope you enjoy this video today. Basically, I was asked why I use a particular cloth for cleaning my stamps. And I'll show this to you in a second. I forgot to bring that out, but I'll bring it out now. Where is it? Okay. It is this cloth here. This cloth is basically a very dirty and disgustingly stained Chuck Super Wipe. These are readily available at any supermarket in Australia. I'm sure they're available in the States and in Europe, but probably in a different name other than Chuck's. And I'll just show you a clean one so you know what it looks like. So they come in packets of 10 or 20, and they're very inexpensive, but they're quite thin, as you can see. But these are quite handy to have around the house. And I found them handy to clean my stamps. They're fantastic. They're disposable as well, which makes them great. You can use them for a long time. I think I've had this for several months now. I don't even remember how long, but I've had it for several months, and it's fantastic. I almost exclusively use the Stampin' Up Stampin' Mist. I've had this bottle since I started as a demonstrator, and it's just the label's worn out, but it still sprays great, and I've had this for several years. When I first joined as a demonstrator, it was back in 2010, and this bottle still sprays, doesn't clog, it's fantastic. So it's the original bottle I had when I joined as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I love it. So yeah, that's what I used to clean my stamps with. The other thing that I used to clean my stamps with is a chamois, or we call them PVA synthetic towels, or you can find them in the auto section. They're a chamois basically. They're quite big. You can use them to clean your car. You can use them at home. They're reusable. They're absorbent. They're fantastic. What I have done is I have cut mine up into a small piece, and I use that to clean my MISTI tool or my Holtz stamp platform, and I'll show you those in a minute. These are great. I love it, especially with the MISTI tool. You can't use anything abrasive on it, and it wrecks it. So I felt that that works really, really well on that, and without the use of harsh chemicals. So I'll talk about that later on. Another product that I use is Clear Grip. This is fantastic. It's basically used in haberdashery, and basically what it is, it's a thin film that you put. So I'll just show it to you. It's like a vinyl film. I'll try and pull it apart so you can see. Anyway, it's a vinyl film that you put on your rulers so that it can not like move around when you're working with fabrics. I find it works really well on cling mount stamps. So as you can see, I've cut up to the shape of the acrylic block. So I have one side with the Clear Grip, and the other side is just for the photopolymer, and this side I use for my cling mount. So I'll just demonstrate with you with the Sharing Sweet Thoughts stamp set. This is a beautiful set that's available now in our current annual catalogue, and this is a clear mount. We call it clear mount rubber. So I like having my stickers on, and a lot of people have found it difficult to keep the blocks on, the stamps onto their blocks with the sticker on, but I found that the Clear Grip is fantastic. So I'll just show it to you. I've got that on now. I'll give it a little press to make sure it adheres, and look at that. I'll do it again because I didn't give it much time to adhere on. So you just press it on as per normal, and look, and it stays on until you physically just go like that. So that's very good. Like if you compare that with that here, that comes off immediately almost, but with the Clear Grip, it's no problem. it stays on. It's fantastic. So that's what I use on my blocks, and I find that works very, very well. It's a great system for me. Another tip, questions I was asked was, how do I stamp with photopolymer without the need of a pierce mat? Now, at times you do need a pierce mat, especially with solid images. So I'm going to demonstrate how I condition my stamps when I first get them. And I'll just grab the stamp that has the most solid image. So I'll just use that one. I'll just grab a block for that. Okay, and I put it on my block on the side that doesn't have the clear grip on there. So what I do is I grab my Versamark ink. Actually, I will demonstrate before you condition and after you condition your stamps, especially with the solid images. So I'm just using some Bermuda Bay ink. Okay, and that actually stamped quite well, but it's still a bit splotchy, bubbly, and what have you. So I'll just clean that stamp with my stamp cleaner, and then I'll show you how I condition my stamp. So I just give it a little spray and wipe. And I find that this cleans really, really well. It gets rid of all of the ink without an issue, and I don't have problems with my stamps staining as much. They still stain, especially when you use browns and reds. So for example, I use like Melon Mumbo on that, but I conditioned it with some Versamark before I used this with Melon Mumbo in my previous videos. And as you can tell, it hasn't stained as much. So I use this Versamark trick because I think it's really good, reduces the stains, and the stamps, especially when they're solid, stamp really beautifully. Now this tip was not my own. I saw this on Jennifer Maguire Ink website, and it rocked my world because I found that the photopolymers really did stamp well without the use of a pierce mat or anything like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm inking it up with Versamark. I wipe it up with the palm of my hand. I ink it up again. So I do this twice. Wipe it off, then I ink it up for a third time. This is for first use, and you can continue doing that too if you want to afterwards, but I don't think it's necessary. So now I'm going to grab my Bermuda Bay ink. Okay, now this is quite a juicy ink pad, so bear with me on that one. And now I'm just going to stamp over the top. And I'll just leave it for a few seconds. And it still turns out splotchy because this is a bubbly ink, but I'll try it again. And I found no problem stamping with... Yeah, let's do it again here. I found no problem stamping after I've conditioned my stamps with Versamark. Turns out great. I've got a very juicy ink pad. I hardly use this one, but... yeah, it works well. You get great coverage every time, and I have no issues at all. So this works out really, really well. So I'll just clean my stamp there and give it a wipe. And I've got another... I'm going to be doing a compare and contrast actually with the MISTI and the... I'll just put this away for a second. I will be using it again shortly. I have both the MISTI tool and the Tim Holtz stamp platform, and I find that these enhance my my stamping. They're both fabulous tools. Okay, so I've got the MISTI here. This is the original MISTI that came out a couple of years ago. I've had this from the beginning. It comes with a stamp pad with grids on it if you wish to use it. Comes with a foam mat, and the base here is magnetic, so I'll just show you with the magnet. Very strong magnetic base, and it's got a grid on there too. This rocked my world when I first saw it. I absolutely love it. I get accurate stamping with it every single time, no problems. You can use this with both both cling and with the photopolymer. So I'll show you how I use this with the cling mount. So I'll just use this image here. So you just take out the foam mat, pop this on, and you let that attach on. Oh yeah. I also use a clear grip film on this, so it can enable me to get my cling mount stamps on it. So I'll just put that on there, and I'll just show you that you can use both. Okay, so I'm just doing a quick demonstration. If you don't know what these tools are or haven't worked with them, that's what they are. Okay, and what this allows you to do is stamp precisely and enjoy your stamping experience. And if you don't like the way the image turns out, you can go back over it again and it works out great. Okay, so that's that one. And you can also use that with photopolymer. So I'll just give this a quick clean. Oh, I'll have to use my chamois, that's just water. Give that a quick clean. Okay, and it cleans the stamp absolutely perfect. If you want to use photopolymer, all you need to do is just stick your foam mat on there, stick your piece of paper on there, put it towards the corner. I'll use that same image again. I'll take off my clear grip. I use clear grip because I just find it's easier. Put it back on here, and I'll just keep reusing it time and time again. Okay, then I'll give it a quick stamp. It's a juicy stamp though with this one, but there we go. Give it a press and it just stamps. Okay, so yeah, that's the MISTI. The MISTI has been around for a couple of years, and just recently there's this hoo-ha about a patent that MISTI was granted, and trying to stop production of any similar products out there. But I have to say, construction-wise, it is solid, but it's got these plastic hinges. It looks a bit, I don't know. It's got a non-slip base, but if you don't want to use your magnets, that kind of stops it from not slipping. Like it's, I don't know. It's good. It does the job, but it just looks a little, I don't know. How can I call this? I know it does the job, but I don't really like the way it looks. It's a bit ugly as far as I'm concerned. What I also find difficult is when I want to lift it up, it's not easy to lift up. Like I have to really look for this lid. So for me, works great, does precise stamping, but I think there's a better design out there, and this is where the Holtz stamp platform comes in by Tonic Studios. This stamp platform is amazing, very different to the MISTI, as you can tell. The MISTI has all four sides enclosed. The Holtz stamp platform has three sides open. So that means if you want to use a large piece of cardstock or paper, it will fit. So for example, I'll just bring an A4 sheet of cardstock. I'll just bring a scrap that I've got that I use with my die cutting machines. So here you go. There's one that you can stamp on all over with this, whereas with the MISTI, you can't do that. You can't stamp, you can't use it with this size. They've got a 12 by 12, but I'm not going to use it. So as you can tell, it's a little bit limiting. This was the original one. It was the only one out at the time. But yeah, I think the Holtz one is a little better, easier to open. It's got like a handle. It doesn't have any sharp edges, unlike the MISTI. MISTI's quite sharp there. You can easily hurt yourself. See that? Sharp corners, a little bit shambolic looking. I think the Holtz one looks a lot better. It's very solid. It's got a completely anti-grip, anti-slip base. It's got some rubber feet as well to really ensure that your stamp platform stays on your workstation. The base is completely magnetic. It's got rulers on either side, and they are both in inches and centimetres, which is handy for us that live in Australia and in the UK and in Europe, where we use centimetres. The lid is quite solid. It's very solid. It's got a magnetic hinges system. So as you can see, the hinges here have got like a metallic insert there. It's quite solid. I love it. And this allows you to flip the lid. So for example, if you want to use your photopolymers or clear stamps, you just pop this on here like this. It just goes in very easily, and you've got you put your clear stamp and away you go. So I'll show you now on this. I'll use another piece of paper and I'll use the same stamp. So I'm just using scraps at the moment. So here we go. We'll just use the clear mount here. And I'll just ink that up. Now, just letting you know, my ink pad is very juicy, so I'm not going to get fabulous results with it, but you'll understand. It works the same way as the MISTI. And this is a very inky stamp, really, really inky. Now, with the Tim Holtz stamp platform, you can use your stamping mist. You can use mixed media, which you can't really with this one. You can't use mixed media with this because you've got to use a specific kind of acrylic cleaner, which I've heard is extremely toxic and not good at all. Apparently, if you use it for a long period of time, you can end up with respiratory problems with the Novus cleaner, and you can also it's an irritant to the eyes, toxic, very harsh chemical. I'd rather not use that kind of stuff, but it's limiting. So again, I can't use StazOn, I can't use mixed media on this. It's very hard to clean that off. So from that aspect, the Tim Holtz stamp platform has a lot more to offer for me. So anyway, more options, and I can work with larger media. The MISTI does have a 12 by 12, but again, the page, the sides are all closed. So to me, that's limiting. I can have a much larger sheet up to there if I want to and switch it around, and it'll give me the options. So that's that one. Now, if you want to use your cling mount stamps or your clear mount stamps from Stampin' Up, for example, not a problem. I'll use that same one again. Pop this on here. Now, all I have to do is just lift the lid, turn it around, and it has to say rubber facing up. Pop this back on. I'll get my, oh, sorry. Then I'll just add that. I've got clear grip on this as well, just letting you know. I just find it just uptakes the rubber stamps a little better for me with the sticker on. If you don't want to have the sticker on, you don't have to, but I like having the sticker on. That way I don't get mixed up as to how my stamp is facing and what have you. So I'm now inking up that lid image from the Sharing Sweet Thoughts stamp set. And just pop that on there. And voila. It's stamped quite well, actually. And the beauty of these stamp positioners is if you've, say for example, didn't stamp it properly, not a problem. Ink it up again. It's in the same spot and stamp over the top. And you can get it lined up precisely every time. See? Very good. I love this thing. I love it. So you can use Stamping Mist. I'm just using this out of habit. But the clear grip is awesome. Look at that. Awesome stuff. So I'm just going to pull that off now. And I wanted to show you as well how to line up for precise placement. So I'm going to bring back my piece of cardstock. The MISTI does the same thing, but I want to show it to you as well. So we've stamped that already, that image right there. Now we're going to stamp the other image on top of that one there. So I'll just pop that on here for a second. So if you want precise stamping with these images, this is a great stamp set for that. It's absolutely great. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up the stamp over the top of that image. So I might poke my head through, and I'm sorry if I do. I'm going to poke my head through so I can make sure it's pretty precise. I'll get it as precise as possible without my head being in the way. And this is the best I can do. Ooh, get stuck to my fingers. Hang on a second. Okay, that's as precise as I can get. So, oh, I've got to change my lid. So I flip it around. So it's self-contained. You don't need to add any foam underneath it, nothing. If, for example, you lose the foam of the MISTI, you're going to have a really hard time trying to get that same thickness back up so you can use this again. So this is where I find that the Holtz stamp platform is better in my opinion. I'm not saying that the MISTI is a bad tool, it's not. It does a fantastic job, but I really think that the Holtz one does a better one. It's just better done, in my opinion, and it's completely different to the MISTI. So I'm going to stamp that image over the top of that, just give it a little press, and there we go. So I think that this stamp platform enhances the use of the Stampin' Up product, very much so, and I think it's a wonderful addition to your craft room. These are on back order at the moment, or on pre-order. I put my name down for this as soon as I found out that they were going to be released in Australia. I just quickly put my name down and just had to get one. I love it. The MISTI tool has been great for me as well, but I think that this is a, I don't know, it just looks better in my opinion. This has got these plastic hinges that can easily break, you know, if you're not careful. If you accidentally drop it, that's it, this is stuffed. This one seems to me a lot more solid. I like the hinges, I like that they're magnetic. This does not come off. Like if you want to pull it off, you can't. It's only when it's in a certain position that you can flip the lid and turn it around and put it to the side that you want. So it's all self-contained. And with regards to the magnets, now this is an important tip. When you have it, the cardstock straight onto the base here, the magnets are at their strongest, okay? So even if you use the clear or the rubber ends of this, the magnets are very magnetized, and the page just sticks there. If you want to use, for example, and I'll just bring around the MISTI, I'll take away the grid pad. You don't need to use that at all if you don't want to. So say, for example, you want to put that piece of paper on here, okay? If I want to now put the magnets on, it moves easier, if you get my drift. Like, I'm not forcing it much, and it moves a lot. Whereas with the Holtz one, if you use photopolymer, you get the same magnetic, you know, strength as if you were to use it on here. So this is quite strong. I can't move it as much here. It's not as easy. But with this, the foam on there, it's a lot easier to move, and there's not much effort for me to move this at all. Not much effort at all. So from the aspect of it being more fiddly, I think that the MISTI is a lot more fiddly. The Holtz stamp platform, and here's where they're stored, so the base is not then flush, is it? So if you don't want to use the magnets, your MISTI will move. This one, it's only on the top here, doesn't move as much, okay? I love both, I really do, but I think that the Holtz one, for me, wins hands down in terms of its construction, It's a lot more finished, a lot more polished. It is completely different to the MISTI, and I like it. Now, in saying all of this, there's this big hoo-ha happening with a patent being granted for the MISTI tool, which I think, you know, good on the creator of the MISTI, but however, it's not a unique idea. I've got this letterpress starter kit, and I'll show you what it looks like. Now, apparently you can use this for letterpress. I got this about 4 years ago now, quite a long time ago, even more, I think. Anyway, the letterpress kit, this is by Lifestyle Crafts, or We Are Memory Keepers now, okay? So We Are Memory Keepers sells this. This is exactly the same thing as the MISTI and the Tim Holtz thing, okay? What you need, what it comes with is some, what is it, sticky, like what is it? They're like little rubber feet. Just try and grab that out of here. Yeah, here we go. You have these foam bits, and they're self-adhesive, and you're supposed to put it on here so you can put your cardstock on there, okay? And then you butt it up against a piece of cardstock. So imagine that I've taken these off, right? They're self-adhesive. I stuck it on here and I've done that. Then what this does then again is it closes up and you stamp it in the same way time and time again. The other brilliant thing about this particular tool is this has a movable hinge. See, look at this. So if you have a cling mount stamp, and I'll show you with the cling mount stamp, I'll show you again with that same lid image. Oops. Right, stick it on there, do it over the top. Not a problem. The hinge accommodates to that, and it clings on. And the same goes with the photopolymer, accommodates for that. So in actual fact, when you really think about it, the MISTI tool is not so unique because I was using this in the exact same way as the MISTI tool years ago. Years and years ago, before the MISTI tool even came out. So I don't understand what the hoo-ha is. I don't understand why similar products cannot be released. They are different enough, I feel. And yeah, so that's my opinion. As I said, I have been using this tool like the MISTI for years, way before it even came out here, you know, in Australia or in the States. So this has been there for a long time. So anyway, these are the things I use to help to enhance my Stampin' Up products. I love my chucks. I love my dirty rag. I love my PVA towel or the chamois. It's great. I keep it in because you've got to keep it moist. I keep it in a Glad container. And I love my clear grip for my cling mount stamps because I love having the image on my stamp. So anyhow, these were my tips and my thoughts, and I hope I don't get any hate comments because of my opinion. This is just purely my opinion. I'm not saying one product is worse than the other. I'm not saying that you know, I don't want to cause division, but these are my opinions from what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I've played with, and what I think works best. For precise stamping, both of these products work extremely well. But price point wise, this is $130. Okay? The Mini MISTI, which is a 6x6, I think, is worth $100. To be honest, I don't feel that this is worth $130. And I bought this 2 years ago and it's still the same price, $130. I just don't feel it's worth it to me. I think it's very expensive. Price point wise, you can't beat $64.95 on this, and I feel it gives you more freedom. You can work with 12 by 12, you can work with smaller, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's my opinion. I think this is a more refined product. You can use clear and rubber stamps with this. All you have to do is just flip the lid. Too easy. You can use your stamp cleaner on this. You can use even stays on as long as you wipe off the stays on after you finish using it. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Price-wise, functionality, and it's completely different. It looks different. It's just a different product, but it does give you precise stamping. Both of them do the same thing, and so did the letterpress years before these two came out. So anyway, that's my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed my video, my tips video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I'm more than happy to help you out. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.